that Antakaranam is Parinamashali, which means it is capable, its nature is that of which is capable of undergoing modifications. This conclusion was reached because tan manaha akuruta. This Shruti sentence allowed us to understand that even Antakaranam is also Karya Dravya. By the virtue that it is a Karya Dravya, it is Savayava. And because it is Savayava, the possibility of modification, Parinama, is 100% there. Now, having said so much, the possibility of modification is there, or it is potentially something that can modify, yet how can one say that the vritti is the modification of Antakaranam? You understand what the topic is? Antakaranam can undergo modification, but does that mean that vritti is the modification of Antakaranam? समझ ये टॉपिक चल रहा है ना अपना? हाँ आनंद?
Yes.
हाँ.
Yes,
How can you be so sure? For which, in the commentary section, another Shruti comes. Kama sankalpo vichikitsa shraddha shraddha dhratiradratirhir sarvam mana eva iti shrutireva tatra pramanam. Now this Shruti says that all of these are antakarana dharmas. These are the attributes of the antakaranam. In other words, these are the modifications of antakaranam. Kama sankalpa, etc. And by that, ichhajnana, etc. will come. And therefore, vritti is a modification of antakaranam. Having said that, immediately comes an objection, because something which seems to be against your experience, that the vritti, ichha, etc., one doesn't see that as antakarana dharma. Then whose dharma is it seen? As atma dharma. It is very much seen as an intrinsic attribute of Atma, seen, okay, experienced. And therefore, which is reflected in our transactions also as aham janami, aham ichhami, etc. So janami ichhami iti atma dharmatvena anubhuyamananam Yanechadinam katham antakarana dharmatvam. How can that be called as antakarana dharma? And if you still insist on calling it antakarana dharmas, then anubhava virodhat, because you cannot do that, because anubhava virodha is will prevent you from saying so. So now the Purva Uttarapaksha Siddhanti replies, Na taptaya pindavad anyonyatādatmya adhyasena antakaranaatmanoho ayodahatitivat janami ityadi anubhavopapatte. He says, first of all, allows you to have a background. So a drishtanta is provided. So once when the drishtanta, an example, is understood, now your buddhi will have an ease of access. And what is that? Taptaya pindavat. Like a hot ball of iron. Taptaya. Of iron. What happens over there? Is fire the iron, or is iron the fire? Out of these two, which possibility exists? None of these, correct? That iron is also not fire, fire is also not iron. And therefore, burning can take place only by fire. Iron is incapable of burning. Now, what happens if you touch that, or if that, it can be a disastrous accident, if I'm going to say, an hot iron ball fell into someone's lap or on his hand. But then whatever may happen, you touched or it fell in your lap, whatever, but then it is bound to burn. It is bound to burn the skin. And so what happens over there? Adhyasena antakarana atmanoho anyonya tadatmya adhyasena. Now there is this adhyasa happening, and what is the nature of that adhyasa? What is the nature of that superimposition? The superimposition is a mutual superimposition and mutual identification, a mutual superimposition of identification. Fire is understood as iron, iron is understood as fire. Anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. Every word over here is very important. How is this adhyasa? Anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. How is it? Anyonya tadatmya. Means iron is something that is anyam, and fire is something that is anyam. Fire cannot be identified as iron. Iron cannot be identified as fire. So there are two prithak vastus. There are two different objects altogether. Yet we have this vyavahara, experience also, transaction, and our experiences. Oh, well, my fingers were burnt by the iron. Oh, how can iron burn your fingers? Only fire can burn. Iron cannot burn. But over here, we say, so now iron is seen as fire, and fire is seen as iron. If you want to lift it, you are going to say it is very heavy, right? Fire has weight, and this is heavy. Okay, or a particular shape. So over here, anyonya tadatmya adhyasena, it is possible, like in case of the iron and the fire. Where is and in Dashtantikam, in our not specimen, but our the point to be illustrated, what is that? That antakarana, between the antakaranam and Atma, this same phenomena is happening. And what is that? Anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. What is the same thing that is happening? Anyonya tadatmya adhyasa is happening. And therefore, by that virtue, now the antakarana dharma is seen as the dharma of Atma. What is the antakarana dharma? Vritti. And therefore, that janami, ichhami, etc. is possible in where you say in the Atma. I am desiring, I know, so on and so forth. So those modifications of the mind are necessarily seen as the modifications of the self only. Those are the modifications of the mind, but they are seen as the modifications of the self. And therefore, now we can say that what you have experienced as the Atma Dharma is actually what? Antakarana Dharma only. Is what happened? Antakarana Dharma only. Iti anubhavaha upapattehe, anubhavopapattehe. So this is how we can understand our experience. Just because it is an experience does not mean don't sit on that by saying, oh, since I have experienced it, it has to be real. Don't be silly. There is what is real, what is not. Let the pramanas decide. Just because it is your experience and you have liked it does not mean that it has to be real. Nacha adhyase mana bhavaha. And there in adhyasa, there is to prove that superimposition, that there is no dearth of pramanas. Mana bhava is not there. Mana bhava means pramana bhava is not there. Abhava. Absence of pramana is not there, which means presence, but it is proven through pramana. Swanubhavasyaiva pramanatvad, because your own experience is good enough to establish anubhava, which adhyasa, which experience aham janami, aham ichhami, such things this is your experience, and by the virtue of that itself, adhyasa will be established. Tatha hi janami iti jnatrutvam anubhuyate taccha antakaranasya kevalasya na sambhavati jadatvat. Tatha, now he gives you a further explanation about that adhyasa. Tatha hi, superimposition, okay? But what kind of superimposition is it? Anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. Tatha hi janami iti jnatrutvam anubhuyate. Now, what is it that one is experiencing? Jnatrutvam. The agency, being an agent of knowledge, knowing. Aham janami, jnatrutvam. Knowership, experiencership is seen. Janami iti jnatrutvam anubhuyate taccha antakaranasya kevalasya na sambhavati. Now, this, if antakarana was to be left all alone by itself, which is capable of modifying, and its modification is vritti, over there also, antakaranam alone, by antakaranam alone modifying also cannot generate this experience, aham janami, I know. Kevalasya antakaranasya na sambhavati. Why, sir? Why is it not possible just because you say? No, because antakaranam is jada, is inert. Can you say the table knows, the chair knows, the bed knows, the chair, I'm sitting on the chair, 100 kgs, this poor chair is bearing. Does that chair know it is 100 kgs, this fellow is coming and going to, sit on me? No. Do these poor sleepers know that the whole 100 kgs he is putting, and the sleepers look at me with a very sad face? No. Why? Because jadatvat, exactly by the same virtue that jnatrutvam is not possible in antakaranam alone, because antakaranam is jadam, jadatvat. Napi tadatmanaha sambhavati. Well, then even janami is not possible in atma. Now that's why you thought that, well, it is not possible in antakaranam, so it is possible in atma. But we are going to say it is not even possible in atma. Tada atmanaha ha na sambhavati. That na is there in the beginning. Napi tadatmanaha sambhavati. It is not possible to say in case of atma too. Why? Asango yayam purushaha kevalo nirgunascha avyakto yamachintyo yam avikaryo yamuchyate ityadi shruti smruti bhihi asangatva avagamat. Because that jnatrutvam etc. is also not possible in Atma, because the Shruti, which shows what is the nature of Atma, shows Atma as what is the nature of this I, of the self. Asangaha, asangoyam purushaha, kevalo nirgunascha, avyakto yamachintyo yamavikaryo yamuchyate is unmanifest, is beyond thought, and without any modifications. Asangaha, unattached. Kevalaha, all alone. Nirgunaha, devoid of all attributes. This is how Atma is. So how can you have this attribute of jnatrutvam in Atma? So aham janami. That janami experience is not possible in antakaranam, nor is it possible in Atma. Then, sir, where is it possible? In the knee or in my little finger? No, we will explain. Tatascha ahamiti atmani antakaranam adhyasya. Antakarane aham chetanaha iti atmatadatmyam adhyasya अन्योन्य धर्माश्च अन्योन्यस्मिन् अध्यस्य अहम जानामि इति ज्ञातृत्वम् अनुभवति जीवः. Please underline this line and use it for your meditation. Aham janami. How does it become possible? Tatascha aham iti, I am. Iti atmani. So this I am means atma. In atma, antakaranamadyasya. What is antakaranam? A modifying element. And its modification is in form of vrutti. So this antakaranam is superimposed. Get superimposed. Okay? Adhyasya. And if you want to understand, there are these two examples to understand the superimposition. Though the example of snake and rope is more appropriate, but for the convenience of one's understanding, to get a little concession and make things little easy, I will give the Shastrakaras have given you, the Acharyas have given us yet another example. And what is that? That of a crystal and the chapa kusuma, the hibiscus flower. Generally, if you have ever gone to some Shankar Bhagavan's temple, where the Shivalinga is Patika Shivalinga, then there are flowers, Bilva Patra, everything is offered. And therefore, from a little distance, how does that crystal appear? It appears to be that of the color of the flowers which are offered. Okay? So over here, the color of the flower is getting superimposed on the crystal. In the same way, the antakaranam is getting superimposed on Atma. Over there, the flower does not get superimposed, just the color of the flower is getting superimposed on the crystal. Over here, the antakaranam also is superimposed, and the attributes of the antakaranams are also superimposed. Both dharma and dharmi are superimposed. Okay? What is the dharma of antakaranam? Modification. So who is modifying? Antakaranam. So what is antakaranam? Antakaranam is dharmi, and its modifications are the dharmas. Both the dharmi and the dharma are getting superimposed on Atma. Okay? On Atma. Ahamiti antakaranam adhyasya. Atmani antakaranam adhyasya. Then, what is the other part? Anyonyatadapnya is there. Antakarane. In antakaranam, what is getting superimposed? This Atma is self-illuminous Chetana. So this Chetanatva, the consciousness, is getting superimposed on the antakaranam. And therefore, Chetana iti antakarane aham chetanaha iti tadatmyam adhyasya anyonya dharmascha anyonyasmin adhyasya. Atma is getting superimposed on the antakaranam. Antakaranam is getting superimposed on the Atma. And because of this mutual adhyas, superimposition. So how is this superimposition? Anyonyatadatmya adhyasa. भाई कठिन हो रहा है क्या किसी को? Is it becoming little difficult to anyone?
No, Swamiji.
This is okay so far. देशमुख ठीक है यहां तक? क्या भाग गया? Okay. Chakresh, you are okay?
Ji, Swamiji, able to follow.
And Jayama, is this okay so far?
Yes, Swamiji.
अच्छा ठीक है. ये समझ में आ रहा है ना अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास कैसे होता है?
जी स्वामीजी, बिल्कुल समझ में आ रहा है.
ठीक है. And therefore adhyasya aham janami iti jnatrutvam anubhavati. Otherwise jnatrutvam is not possible in antakaranam. Jnatrutvam is not possible in Atma. But when does jnatrutvam become possible? When there is a mutual superimposition. And due to this mutual superimposition, there is tadatmya. This itself is then becomes the ground for that aham janami iti anubhava, for this experience. Jnatrutvam anubhavati jivaha. So this is how the jiva experiences jnatrutvam. Ataha swanubhavaha eva adhyase pramanam. And therefore, our own experience itself, that aham janami, is good enough to prove what is tadatmyam tad ah Bhagavan Bhashyakaraha. And this is what is said by Bhagavan Bhashyakar. Aham idam mamedam iti naisargikoyam loka vyavaharaha. This is me, and this belongs to me. This is what I am. What are you? I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm good, I know, I'm experiencing so on and so forth. Whatever that, this is me. When you say this is me, this is what I am. And mamedam, this is mine. My thoughts, my experience, my knowledge. Mamedam. How is this? Sometimes the same thing you say as mama, and sometimes you say as aham. So when you say that I am thinking, and other places you say my thought, my thinking. So aham and mama, both these things are possible because of this anyonyatadatmya adhyasa. Naisargiko ayam loka vyavahara. And this loka vyavahara means a transaction of the worldly transaction is possible, and that worldly transaction is something that is naisargika. It is not kritrima. It is not created or anything, but it just happens by itself. Naisargiko. By nature, it is happening. And just because it is happening by nature does not mean that it has to be a fact. Remember this. Some thinkers that I have read are of the opinion that something has to be real and something is a fact only because it is natural. Sir, no. This anyonya tadatmya adhyasa is happening, and that is naisargika. So this loka vyavahara of aham janami, aham anubhavami, aham ichchami, which is there. So this loka vyavahara, which is common to everyone, not that only common to the Brahmins, Indians or something. No, sir. Common to everyone. Man, woman, young or old, rich or poor, pandit or murkha, anyone. For everyone, this is laukik, this loka vyavahara is there. It is common to everyone, and it is natural. How is this? Aham mama iti. Aham idam mamedam iti naisargiko ayam loka vyavahara. This loka vyavahara becomes, when does that become possible? Because of anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. Now, so therefore, this janami, etc., this vritti is antakarana dharma and not atma dharma. It is a modification of the antakaranam only, because atma cannot undergo any modification. Avikari ayam uchyate. Then, and you also have never experienced that Atma is undergoing any modification. I am is the experience which remains the same. Never have you know this, that feeling of consciousness has grown or become less. No, ahamasmi is a constant one. Ahamasmi. No, ahamasmi need not be a vritti. Without this aham, presence and absence of the vritti also cannot be there. So therefore that aham is constant.
Swamiji,
Huh.
aham asmi, this anubhav, It is also because of this anyonya tadatma adhyas.
Yeah.
But this is a vritti, isn't it?
Yeah, this vritti. So we are not talking about that vritti also. When we are talking about aham, ashuddha chaitanyam, we are not talking about aham asmi as vritti. Aham asmi as vritti, and the chaitanyam is seen in this vritti is because of tadatmyam. That is understood, na?
Ji, ji.
So Shuddha Chaitanyam is not a vritti. And it is constant, which means that it has never undergone any change, any transformation, any change, any modification, and therefore is avikari. Hence, vritti, which is a vikar, cannot belong to Atma. Vritti belongs because there are only two categories, two places where the vritti could have belonged, either to Atma or to Antakaranam. By the Shruti Pramanam and by your close observation of your own experience, you will come to understand that, well, sir, vritti cannot be Atma Dharma, vritti has to be Antakarana Dharma alone. But this aham janami, aham ichchami, etc. is possible because of anyonya.
Tadatmya adhyas.
तादात्म्य अध्यास
Because of anyonya tadatmya adhyas. इसके ऊपर विचार करो. मैंने जो कहा है उस लाइन को अंडरलाइन करके रखना. आंख बंद करके इसको अपने मन में दोहराओ और विचार करो इसके ऊपर. Aham iti atma. In that atma, in atmani, antakarana madhyasya. Antakaranam is getting superimposed like the japakusuma. Antakarana madhyasya. Antakarane aham chetanaha iti. Tadatmyam adhyasya anyonya dharmanscha anyonyasmin adhyasya. So thus there is the dharmi is also getting adhyasya, is also getting superimposed, and the dharmas are also getting superimposed. You understand, na? Both. The dharmi is also, dharmi means the one who has these attributes. Antakaranam is also getting adhyasya. And antakarana dharma, the vritti is also getting adhyasya. So also in antakaranam, atma is getting adhyasya. Atma dharma of chetanatva is also getting adhyasya. Is also getting superimposed. And because of this, now the experience becomes possible. What is that experience? Aham janami, I know. Now what you know, whether you know a pot, whether you know a ghata or pata or something else, irrelevant. Aham janami, this becomes possible because of anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. Ataha swanubhavaha eva adhyase pramanam. Now, we are about to start yet another topic, because in this Nyayamata, according to the Nayayikas, for them, knowledge, etc., this janami, that what you are talking, is Atma Dharma. Is Atma Dharma. Not this knowledge, vritti, ghatashyanam, patashyanam is not in antakaranam according to them. It is happening in Atma because that is how you experience. Aham janami. Where is the knowledge taking place? In me. Where is the knowledge of ghata taking place? In me. I am knowing it. And therefore, the Nayayikas are stepping forward to justify as how this experience takes place, aham janami, and by that virtue, this vritti, etc., is the attribute of Atma only. This is the Nyayamatam. But how does that become possible? They have a prakriya. Now we have to understand how the Nayayikas are trying to explain it. Then it is possible to see its defect and reject it. So how do they say? Look at this. So our Siddhanta Paksha has been clear in the paragraph on the top. Now, once when the Siddhanti has said, obviously the Nayayika says that, sir, what you say is not acceptable to us, then again the Siddhanti will come to refute. You understand how the process is?
Ji, Swamiji.
Otherwise, just simply the Vipaksha. Vipaksha matlab, the Purva Paksha does not come. Huh?
Opponent, Swami.
Opponent or objection can be raised only when you have said something, na? So therefore,
Yes.
the Siddhanti has to say something. What has the Siddhanti said? That this aham janami, this anubhava, is possible because of anyonya tadatmya adhyasa. This is what you have said. So you are giving the Siddhanti is giving an explanation about how he is dissecting this anubhava aham janami. This aham janami is then also explained by the Nayayika. And Nayayika does not follow this, he does not say that it is an tadatmya adhyasa. It is a tadatmya adhyasa. He does not say. He says that it is a different prakriya. What is his prakriya? He says, due to the contact of Atma and the mind, the knowledge is generated. How is the knowledge aham janami possible? Due to the contact of mind and
Atma.
Sanyoga tadutpattihi. Tat means janami iti anubhavasya utpattihi. मिल रहा है क्या? नीचे वाली लाइन देख रहे हो? सेकंड पैराग्राफ.
Yes, Swami.
Yacha janya jane. This is very, I mean, this author is really wonderful person. He says, by knowledge, which knowledge are you talking? Because the Swarupa, Brahma is also Jnana Swarupa. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So he says, no. We are talking about, by the word knowledge over here in our present context, we mean a knowledge which is Janya. Knowledge which is Janya. Chakresh, Janya का अर्थ क्या होता है?
Which can be produced.
जन्य है. संगीता ठीक है? जन्य मतलब क्या? क्या सब लोग क्या ये क्लास ऑन करके कहीं यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे हैं क्या बगीचे में?
अभी ऑन किया, सॉरी स्वामी जी.
हाँ ठीक है. वो और कौन है यहाँ? ठीक है, सब लोग. आनंद जवाब नहीं दे रहा है, ऑन करके बैठा है.
स्वामी जी ट्रैवलिंग.
Okay, traveling. Okay. Janya. So, how is this knowledge? Janya. So, the Nayayika says that Janya Jnane Chadinam. So, knowledge, so Ghata Jnanam was not there before. Now the Ghata Jnanam has taken place. which means the Ghatashyanam is Janyam. Correct? Sarita, ठीक है ना? How is this
Yes,
Ghatashyanam?
Swami.
जन्यम.
Jan-
हाँ, अभी अभी तो हुआ, पैदा हुआ, इसलिए जन्य है. और so all this jnana, इच्छा etc. ज्ञानेच्छादीनाम आत्म मनस संयोगात उत्पत्ति ही. How does that happen? Because of the sanyoga, the contact between atma and mind, this janya knowledge, ichha etc. is all born. But where? In atma. So Nayayikas do not accept that this knowledge etc. is taking place in Antakaranam. To him, where is it taking place? In Atma. In Atma. Because you don't have to explain it, why go through that route of trying to say that it is अन्योन्य तादात्म्य. अरे भाई, तुम्हें सीधा सीधा दिख रहा है कि मुझ में ज्ञान हो रहा है. I know the knowledge is taking place in me. So why do you want to go elsewhere? It is taking place in Antakaranam, and in Antakaranam and its dharmas are superimposed. ऐसा क्यों करना? सीधा बोल दो आत्मा में ही हो रहा है. समझ में आ रहा है ना नैयायिकों की पोजीशन?
जी स्वामी.
हाँ. तदुत्पत्ति ही इति न्यायमतम. दिस इज द न्यायमतम. तन्न उपपद्यते. दिस इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. किसको एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है?
सिद्धांति को स्वामी.
अच्छा, सिद्धांति को तो एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं होगा. क्यों नहीं होगा? क्योंकि वो सिद्धांति से वो तुम्हारा मत है या हमारा मत है, इस प्रकार से चलेगा?
नहीं स्वामी जी.
नहीं, प्रमाण सिद्ध प्रमाण.
याद है क्या, हम बच्चे थे स्कूलों में, तो बेंच पे बैठते थे तो अपने दोस्त को बोलते थे, ये देख, ये इतनी लाइन मेरी है, वहां से तुम्हारी है, ठीक है? करते थे ना? तुम लोगों ने किया कि नहीं किया?
जी स्वामी जी.
तरह तरह से होता था.
तो हम अपने अपने पैर ऐसे फैला के वाह वाह उसको जरा खिसकाते थे. अरे तुम्हारी बुक मेरे इधर क्यों आई, तुम्हारा पेन पेंसिल इधर क्यों आए, वहां पे रख, वहां पे रख. वैसे ही ये उसका मत है, ये हमारा मत है, हम तो अपने मत में रहेंगे. अरे भाई, इस प्रकार से नहीं होता. तन्न उपपद्यते नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल टू सिद्धांति. सिद्धांति एक्सेप्ट करे न करे उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है. प्रमाण सिद्ध है कि नहीं है, बात ये है. न उपपद्यते मतलब
It's not
प्रमाण.
logical.
हाँ, न प्रमाण सिद्धम, इतना ही होता है अर्थ. हमको एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, ये नहीं चलता. न प्रमाण सिद्धम. ठीक है? तो कहते हैं क्यों? पहली बात, आत्म मनसो हो निरवयवतया संयोगा संभवात. बोलते हैं देखो, नैयायिकों का आत्मा भी निरवयव है, उनका मन भी निरवयव है. अच्छा, दो निरवयव पदार्थों का संयोग हो सकता है क्या?
नहीं.
अच्छा, जब मैं ये कहता हूं कि मैं इस टेबल को छू रहा हूं, संयोग हो रहा है कि नहीं? कांटेक्ट है कि नहीं?
हाँ
जी.
तो मैं टेबल को छू रहा हूं का अर्थ क्या है? पूरा का पूरा मैं टेबल पे लेटा हूं क्या? भी
नहीं नहीं
मेरा
नहीं।
हाथ, उंगली के भी एक कोई भाग छोटा सा वो टेबल को छू रहा है. कितना ही अर्थ निकलता है?
जी.
तो मैं टेबल को छू रहा हूं ये कहने के लिए पहले टेबल का एक कॉर्नर हो, मुझे हाथ हो, हाथ में उंगली हो, उंगली का एक छोटा भाग हो, तो टेबल का वह कॉर्नर का छोटा सा भाग, मेरे उंगली का वो छोटा सा भाग, यहीं पे कांटेक्ट पॉसिबल होता है। तो कांटेक्ट संयोग होने के लिए पदार्थ सावयव होना चाहिए कि नहीं?
होना
जी
चाहिए।
यदि पदार्थ सावयव नहीं है तो भाई संयोग कैसे होगा? तो यही मुख्य है उनके ऊपर ऑब्जेक्शन। तुमने आत्मा को भी निरवयव कहा है, तुमने मन को भी निरवयव कहा है, दोनों ही इनके विभू है। एक्चुअली ये न्याय मत, जिन्होंने न्याय पढ़ा होगा उनके लिए तो ठीक है, परंतु ये एक प्रकार की शंका किसी के दिमाग में हो सकती है, बिना पढ़े हुए भी ये कर सकता है कि अहम जानामि, यह अनुभव कहाँ हो रहा है? आत्मा में। इसीलिए ज्ञान इत्यादि कहाँ होता है भाई? आत्मा में ही हो रहा है। तो यह अंतःकरण का वृत्ति धर्म नहीं है। वृत्ति जो है वह अंतःकरण का धर्म नहीं है। तो क्या कहेगा, किसका धर्म है ये?
आत्मा
आत्मा का धर्म है। इसलिए इट इज मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ द आत्मा ओनली इन अ वे। परंतु हम क्या बोले हैं, वृत्ति की डेफिनेशन क्या है?
विषय अभिव्यंजक
अंतःकरण का परिणाम है।
वो अंतःकरण का परिणाम है, ये कहा है। तो अंतःकरण का परिणाम है तो ये सीधा सीधा जाकर के न्याय मत से मेल नहीं खाता, विरोध करता है। तो अब तुम्हें उपपन्न करना पड़ेगा इस बात को। इसीलिए ये दोनों ही पदार्थ जब निरवयव है तो इनमें संयोग होगा कैसे? और फिर संयोग होकर के आत्मा में, संयोग होके आत्मा में घटक ज्ञान पटक ज्ञान संभव होता है। ठीक है?
जी स्वामी।
लेकिन मुख्य ऑब्जेक्शन क्या है हमारा? ये सारा उसी ऑब्जेक्शन को आगे उपपन्न किया हुआ है उन्होंने, उन्हीं के भाषा में, टेक्निकल लैंग्वेज में। क्योंकि संयोग क्या है? अव्याप्य वृत्ति है। अव्याप्य वृत्ति मतलब कि संयोग कहाँ रहता है? सब जगह नहीं, कुछ जगह रहेगा, कुछ जगह नहीं रहेगा। सारे टेबल में मेरा हाथ नहीं रहेगा, एक कॉर्नर में रहेगा। टेबल का स्पर्श जो है वो मेरे पूरे शरीर में नहीं रहेगा, उंगली के एक छोटे से हिस्से में रहेगा। ठीक है? ये क्या हुआ? संयोग। कैसा है संयोग का अर्थ? क्या हुआ? अव्याप्य वृत्ति। यहाँ वृत्ति मतलब हमारी अंतःकरण की वृत्ति नहीं, यहाँ पे वृत्ति मतलब वर्तमान होना। ठीक है ना?
जी स्वामी।
होगा अभी थोड़ा वर्तमान होना। परंतु ये न्याय मत जो है वो अपने में ही उलझा हुआ है। तो जिन लोगों के मत में आत्मा में ही ज्ञान आदि हो रहा है, ये वृत्तियां हो रही हैं, जानामि इच्छामि इत्यादि, वो हम कहते हैं कि नहीं हो सकता। भले लगे, लेकिन ये अनुभव कैसा है? कोई आत्मा मन के संयोग से नहीं हो रहा है, परंतु हो कैसे रहा है? ये अंतःकरण को, इस मन को आत्मा में अध्यस्त हो करके, और आत्मा का भी अध्यास उसमें होके, किसमें? अंतःकरण में होके ये ज्ञान, जानामि इच्छामि इत्यादि अनुभव संभव होते हैं। ठीक है? हाँ,
जी स्वामी।
तो यहां सीधा आकर के आखिर की लाइन देख लो। तस्मात् असंगतम असंगतत्वा न्याय मतस्य वृत्ति ज्ञानम अंतःकरण धर्म एवैति। और इसीलिए न्याय मत में अपने में ही असंगतत्व है। असंगत मतलब असंगत है, इट इज नॉट coherent. It is not coherent, and hence फाइनल कंक्लूजन क्या है कि ये जो वृत्ति जो है वो क्या है, आत्मधर्म
अंतःकरण धर्म है।
अंतःकरण धर्म
अंतःकरण
है।
धर्म।
अब यहां तक हम आ गए कि ये वृत्ति अज्ञान और अंतःकरण का मिलित परिणाम है और वह विषय चैतन्य को अभिव्यक्त करती है। वृत्ति का अर्थ क्या है कि ऐसी वस्तु जो विषय चैतन्य को अभिव्यक्त करे और जो अंतःकरण का ज्ञान का परिणाम हो, उसे वृत्ति कहते हैं। ठीक है,
जी
तो
स्वामी।
वृत्ति की डेफिनेशन अब पूरी पूरी हो गई कि हाँ जी, वृत्ति अंतःकरण का ही परिणाम है। अंतःकरण मतलब अंतःकरण ज्ञान दोनों का मिलित परिणाम है। और वृत्ति हम उसी को कहेंगे, स्मृति इत्यादि को अभी हम वृत्ति नहीं कहना चाहते, इसीलिए किसको कहेंगे? वृत्ति मतलब जो विषय चैतन्य को अभिव्यक्त करे, जो विषय चैतन्य को अभिव्यक्त करे और जो अंतःकरण का परिणाम हो, ये बात हो गई। और वह अंतःकरण का ही परिणाम है, इसके लिए हमने अंतःकरण को कार्य द्रव्य दिखा दिया। कार्य द्रव्य होने से सावयव है ये दिखाया, सावयव है होने से वह परिणामी है ये भी हो गया। परिणामी होने पर भी वृत्ति ही अंतःकरण का परिणाम है ये भी दिखा दिया। वृत्ति ही अंतःकरण का परिणाम है ये कैसे दिखाया सरिता?
स्वामी जी अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास।
अच्छा अच्छा,
स्वामी जी श्रुति के थ्रू।
श्रुति प्रमाण से।
फिर
जी।
हाँ, श्रुति प्रमाण से। कौन सी श्रुति है वो?
स्वामी जी जो असंग
असंग,
इच्छा और ये काम संकल्प सब
पढ़ो ना, सामने है तो।
ये स्वामी जी, काम संकल्पो विचिकित्सा श्रद्धा श्रद्धा धृति धृति धीर्भिः इति एव एतत् सर्वं मन एव इति
इससे क्या सिद्ध हुआ कि वृत्ति क्या है? अंतःकरण का ही परिणाम है। ठीक है, पहले तो प्रूफ क्या हो गया? तन मनः अकुरुत से कि अंतःकरण कार्य द्रव्य है, कार्य द्रव्य होने से
सावयव है,
सावयव होने से
परिणामी है।
हाँ, लेकिन यहीं पे क्यों नहीं रुके और दूसरी श्रुति क्यों उद्धृत की?
क्योंकि वृत्ति अंतःकरण का परिणाम वृत्ति ही है, इसको प्रमाणित करने के लिए,
ये प्रमाणित करने के लिए। ठीक है, अब बोलते हैं कि अहम जानामि इत्यादि ये जो अनुभव हो रहा है ये तो आत्मा में ही हो रहा है, तो आत्मा का धर्म लगता है, नहीं लगता ये अंतःकरण का धर्म। घटक ज्ञान इत्यादि, घटक ज्ञान पटक ज्ञान, वही बोलोगे ना, घटम जानामि पटम जानामि घटम इच्छामि पटम इच्छामि, यही बोलोगे ना?
जी स्वामी जी।
तब पूछते हैं कि भाई ये अनुभव कैसे संभव हो रहा है? और इस अनुभव के बल से तो लगता है कि ज्ञान इच्छा इत्यादि किसका धर्म है? आत्मा का धर्म दिखता है। तुम चाहे जो बोलना है बोलो, लेकिन हमारा अनुभव ज्यादा प्रेशियस है कि नहीं है? वजन किसको होगा, तुम्हारी बात को कि मेरे अनुभव को?
अनुभव को।
तो अब बोलते हैं तुम्हारा जो भैया अनुभव है उसका, उस अनुभव को भी देख लो, वो अनुभव क्यों हो रहा है? क्यों हो रहा है?
वो अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास से ही हो रहा है।
अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास से ही हो रहा है। इसीलिए अंतःकरण का धर्म भले ही हो, लेकिन ऐसा होने पर भी वह आत्मा में प्रतीत क्यों हो रहा है? अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास से। तो नैयायिक सामने आकर के बोला, नहीं जी, या अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास से नहीं हो रहा है, बस आत्मा और मन के संयोग से हो रहा है तो आत्मा का ही धर्म। ज्ञान, इच्छा इत्यादि ये किसके धर्म है?
आत्मा के।
जैसे तुम्हारा अनुभव है वैसे ही है, आत्मा के ही है ये धर्म। लेकिन ये कैसा होता है संभव? आत्मा में भी ये धर्म कैसे हमेशा ही होते रहते? नहीं, जब जब आत्मा और मन का संयोग होता है तब तक होता है। तो हमने पूछा कि भैया ये तो बताओ, आत्मा और मन का संयोग कैसे होगा? क्योंकि संयोग का अर्थ होता है केवल सावयव पदार्थ में ही संयोग संभव होता है। तुम्हारा आत्मा सावयव है कि मन सावयव है? तो कहते हैं दोनों सावयव नहीं है और फिर भी हो रहा है। कहा यही एक तुम्हारी गलती है, यही पे तुमने सारा वो you have created the mess over here. And therefore what is justified in understanding? जैसे श्रुति ने दिखाया वैसे ही है कि ये सारा अंतःकरण का धर्म है। आत्मा जो है वह असंगोयम पुरुषः, असंग है, केवलो निर्गुणश्च, अविकारी है, इसलिए आत्मा में संभव नहीं, परंतु फिर भी अनुभव हो रहा है कि यह आत्मा में ही होता है। इसका कारण अन्योन्य तादात्म्य अध्यास ही है। और इसीलिए नाउ व्हाट इज द फाइनल कंक्लूजन ऑफ दिस डिस्कशन? कि वृत्ति इज अ परिणाम एंड परिणाम ऑफ antakaranam. Thus the definition that was given of vritti is free from any
Dosha.
defect. Okay. Sa cha dvividha. Now we will come to the Moola Grantha and we will start when I am back. So this vritti again is twofold. द्विविधा कैसी है वो देख लेंगे बाद में, ठीक है? टिल देन आप लोग जो पंक्ति बताई थी उसके ऊपर ध्यान करना कि अहम जानामि ये अनुभव कैसे हो रहा है। आंखें बंद करके 10 मिनट 15 मिनट देखो, जान तो रहे हो, ये ज्ञान कैसे पॉसिबल होता है? देखो, ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम महादेव महादेव। Thank you all, thank you very much. Acha, I just have one thing to tell all of you. Maybe you can even